suspended for 1 game today. He will sit out tonight's game. Aaron Sanchez is appealing his suspension, so he is still on the active roster. But Gibbons was here for batting practice, can't be in the dugout during the game, and instead DeMarlo Hale will be the acting manager tonight.
Yeah, DeMarlo's been his bench coach for quite a few years here in Toronto. That's Pete Walker on his left, the pitching coach, and they will try to run the ship here tonight.
Paul Molitor's team has struggled generally, and the losses have shown up a little more frequently on the road. They're just not playing good baseball. They're not hitting, and the occasions when they get good starting pitching, they're not hitting enough to get as many wins as they would need to stay in the wild card lead. Here's the Menards batting order today. Brian Dozier leading off. Joe Mauer moving up to second. Trevor Plouffe third. Miguel Sano cleanup. Torrey Hunter, Eddie Rosario, Aaron Hicks, Kurt Suzuki, and Eduardo Nunez getting the start at short. He'll hit ninth.
Twins will be facing the right-hander Marco Estrada. He's making his 17th start for the Blue Jays. Pretty impressive. He's won 7 of his last 10 decisions. In his last 4 home starts, he's posted a 1.96 ERA. He's allowed 2 earned runs or less in 7 of his last 8 outings. And he's a guy that throws a lot of changeups. Almost a third of his pitches thrown will be changeups. That's the second most in Major League Baseball.
Gotta like that low opponent batting average for Estrada. Northland 4 defense for the Blue Jays. They think they've gotten a big upgrade in left field, where Ben Revere now will get some time out there. Pilar in center, Bautista in right, Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Goins, Encarnacion around the infield, and Deoner Navarro behind the plate. Brian Dozier will lead things off. Mauer and Plouffe will follow. About 15 minutes ago, we peeked outside. It was raining very hard. That's why the roof is closed. First pitch popped up, backing out of play, 1 strike.
Well, we can honestly admit that there's nowhere near the same crowd tonight, at least to start the game, as in yesterday's day game.
And a breaking ball low, 1-1. Yesterday, what would we call it? A provincial holiday, I guess, something like
an extended weekend holiday. That's what I like to refer to it as. And apparently it got to a lot of the Canadians that were here because they're at home resting, watching the game on TV.
1-2. There's another off-speed pitch. Dozier with a swing and a miss. They have drawn well here in Toronto. There's a little buzz here that we've not noticed in recent years. And Dozier strikes out. Estrada with a 90-mile-per-hour fastball gets him 1 down.
Last pitch, you can see Navarro wanting to set away. Ball came back up and in, but 90-mile-an-hour fastball got him.
Yeah, that's not a pitch we see Brian miss very often. That's a mistake by Estrada. That's right where Brian likes the ball. Here's Mauer. The average now down into the 260s. Ball 1.
Dozier, one of the many Twins hitters that came out early for batting practice today. They're still trying to work on it.
Check swing, a foul tip, 1-1. The Twins struggling since the All-Star break. Dozier with some heroics before the break, and the Twins won 5 out of 6 going into the All-Star break, but you really can't use that as an excuse. The fact is they haven't played nearly as well out of the break as they did going in.
Well, the real facts are that everybody goes to the All-Star break.
Right.
You know, and it's not just them that had a bunch of days off.
On the outside corner, and it's 1-2. And now 2-2.
That was the changeup that Estrada likes to go to. That's his strikeout pitch, kind of his go-to pitch, and you can see the movement of that changeup. Not only is it 75 miles an hour, but it really has good sink away from the left-handers.
It's hit to left, and Revere going back, and he's there on the edge of the different colored carpeting. I won't call it a warning track. 2 down. And Estrada gets the first 2 batters. Now he'll face Plouffe.
There's the percentage of changeups that he uses, and you can see Estrada way up there in the league lead, almost 30%.
Plouffe with the bases empty and 2 down. And a strike over the inside corner.
Now I know that Tom Bernansky has let all the Twins hitters know about that changeup. The question is, will they sit on that changeup and hope he makes a mistake, because a lot of those changeups will be out of the zone.
90 miles per hour again off the plate. Now the fastball seems to be pretty consistent right at 90.
It's not an overpowering fastball. It's a very hittable fastball, but again, he doesn't throw it over the heart of the plate too often.
Again, 90.
Yeah.
That one looked like it cut the plate. Yep. 1-2. You got one fastball up to 91 miles per hour. And there's another one at 91, but off the plate. 2-2. Sano on deck, hoping for a chance.
Should be fun for Jays fans to watch the David Price and the difference between him and Mark Burley, who is the left-hand version of the super changeup. Estrada is going to learn a lot from 2 veteran pitchers, that's for sure. If he can just sit on the bench and watch how a Mark Burley goes about his business, how a David Price goes about his business. Something they can both learn, or he can learn a lot from.
6 straight fastball, 90 to 91 miles per hour, just moved around the plate, and the count remains 2-2. Look at that. Pretty consistent, but not in the same spot or over the middle of the plate. And the off-speed pitch tapped weakly to third. Donaldson across the diamond, and it's a 1-2-3 first for Marco Estrada. Absence of the suspended John Gibbons.
DeMarlo is one of the prospective managers that the Twins interviewed, and I talked to him about that. He said he really enjoyed the interview process in Minnesota.
Here's the lineup for DeMarlo Hale, brought to you by Menards. Troy Tulowitzki, Josh Donaldson, Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, Russell Martin, Deanna Navarro, Ryan Goins, Kevin Pillar, and Ben Revere.
And they're going to face Phil Hughes. Phil's making his 22nd start this year. You can see his record 10-6. He was crafty in his last outing. I can say that and kind of chuckle, because you need a few of those. He only went 5 innings, allowed 5 runs on 10 hits, and he still got the win. So stay hot.
Tulowitzki, Donaldson, and Bautista in the first. First pitch on one hop. Plouffe sets and fires one away.
Well, that's as good as it gets right there to get an out on one pitch.
But it may also kind of be what we'll see more of. We've seen a lot of hitters swing at that first pitch because they know Phil's right around the plate. Northland Ford defense, Rosario, Hicks, and Hunter in the outfield. Plouffe and Nunez left side of the infield. Dozier and Mauer on the right side. Suzuki behind the plate. And now Josh Donaldson. Paul Molitor saying before the game that Eduardo Nunez has greatly improved his defense from where he was a year ago. Strike one. Better footwork, better rhythm out in the field.
Well, he's taking a lot of reps. Gene Glenn has really worked hard with all the guys on the left side of the infield.
Strike two of them taken by Donaldson.
Trevor Plouffe seems like every single day comes out and takes extra work defensively, and of course Escobar and Nunez now are going to be getting most of the reps at shortstop, so he was out working with them today.
There's a curve on 0-2. And just to show that pitch, what we've seen even through Hughes's late run of success, first time through the order, fastball, 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 and then mixing in the off-speed stuff after that. Ooh, cutter down and away, just missed 2-2.
That's the pitch he's got to be careful with, is his cutter. That's the one that has probably given him more harm with all the home runs this year than any other pitch, and he's got to locate that, really concentrate on locating that in good spots. But yeah, the league understands. I mean, that's why they have advanced scouts and so many statistics out there. They know that Phil Hughes throws the ball over the plate a lot. He rarely walks guys, and he rarely throws in on guys. So you've got to be ready to swing the bat early in the count. You don't want to get behind on this guy.
2-2. High and deep. And a 1-0 Toronto lead. Pitches seem to be down low throughout the at-bat until the last pitch.
And that is the cutter. Kurt Suzuki gave him the 3 sign, and that's his cutter. And we're going to watch the location, and you're not going to like what you see.
Well back into the second level. And for Donaldson, his 28th home run, leading the team. Now here's Bautista. And for Hughes, the 26th home run allowed. Nunez will get a chance on a ground ball. 2 down. So a couple of first pitch outs, a protracted at bat for Donaldson. He took the first 4 pitches of the at bat and then clobbered a home run. Here's Encarnacion. Encarnacion's average down below 250, but still 19 home runs.
Got 4 guys in the lineup, the Blue Jays do, that have a legitimate chance of hitting 25+ home runs.
Well, you look at Encarnacion, 57 RBIs, and he's not close to the team lead, but if he were on the Twins, he'd be tied for the team lead. That's, you know, they just happen to have Donaldson with 78 runs batted in and Bautista with 71. 1-1 with the Blue Jay first baseman, and now 1-2.
That was the curveball right there. It broke more like a good breaking slider, but it was the fact that he changed speeds on it a little bit that made it effective also. Does it again. See, that 79-mile-an-hour curveball right there.
2-2. Since June 19th, the Minnesota Twins have only 18 wins. Phil Hughes has recorded 6 of them. So in a sense, as disappointing as the Twins have been over the last 6-7 weeks, it makes you wonder where they'd be without Phil Hughes. He alone has registered 1/3 of the team's wins. 3-2 to Encarnacion. Russell Martin hitting next. Another ground ball. Hughes gets 3 ground ball outs, but Josh Donaldson gets his 28th home run. It's 1-0 Toronto. Nothing. The Twins got just 1 run against him yesterday.
He was as good as you could possibly expect a guy to do, to change uniforms and go out and dominate. He did just that, and a young guy like Marco Estrada, Drew Hutchinson, they can learn a lot by watching their new teammate and the way he goes about his business. He's a very hard worker.
He said the atmosphere here was unlike anything he'd ever experienced. This guy's pitched in the World Series. He's pitched in the postseason.
He ain't seen nothing yet. That's all I can say. They get there.
If they get there here this year.
Yep.
It was Miguel Sano leading things off here, taking ball 1. And a liner that knuckles its way to Tulowitzki, 1 away. As we were getting ready for the start of the game yesterday, there was a huge roar when Price went to the bullpen. And of course, I've told you this before the game. Whenever I hear that, and it doesn't happen very often when a guy's just going to the bullpen, whenever I hear that, I think of you going out to the bullpen at the Dome before Game 7 in '91.
Well, it was a very unique experience for me. It's the only time it happened in my career, and you know, I'm not saying it's going to happen to David every time he takes the rubber here, but they certainly were excited about the acquisition and the possibility of him being that #1 guy, and he certainly showed them that he can be and will be that #1 guy for them.
Torrey Hunter's average down into the 240s, and he takes outside 1-1. What I remember when you went to the bullpen, that was just a short walk. Here, Price had to walk all the way out past left field, but you had the short walk at the Metrodome, and the folks at Dome Vision, playing off your quote the night before, if I may paraphrase, in the words of the late great Marvin Gaye, "Let's get it on." As you left the dugout, folks at Dome Vision played Marvin Gaye's hit, "Let's get it on."
Yeah, it's funny because I don't remember hearing the music, but I saw him stand up and cheer.
2 down. Hunter strikes out, and that'll bring up Rosario. Five up, 5 down. Estrada now pitching with a 1-0 lead. Wanted the glove up, and Torrey swung under the pitch.
Great movement right there on that off-speed pitch. That's the changeup, and just sinks a little bit down and in. But again, Rosario way out in front. Now he's got to make up his mind. Do I sit on the fastball or do I sit on the changeup? Because if you look for both, you're not going to hit both. Another changeup.
Two quick strikes to Rosario. Keeping his batting average rather steady at the 280 range, while some of the more veteran hitters have struggled and seen their batting averages suffer. Drive to center. Pilar drifting back. And a pair of 1, 2, 3 innings for Marco Estrada and a 1-0 Toronto lead. Inning. Big news out of Detroit this afternoon. The Tigers released their general manager so he could pursue other opportunities. Dave Dombrowski, considered to be one of the best general manager, CEO, president types. That's what he had, the titles he had with the Tigers. And Al Avila, who had been his right-hand man, will assume those duties for the Tigers now. Ball one, strike one. There are 4 similar jobs open or rumored to be opening soon. Boston, Seattle, the Angels, and here in Toronto. Fouled away.
And the timing of it is kind of unique, I think. You know, Dombrowski just sort of derailed, or as he put it, rebooted his team in Detroit, and then pretty much decides that it might be time to move on. And Mike Ilitch, the owner, certainly appreciated his work and let him pursue other interests.
In the dirt, and it's 2-2. It'd be odd if he showed up here
after
having just traded
Price here.
Price over here.
Well, it shows how quick everything can change. You know, a guy makes some moves thinking he's helping one team, and then he might be working for the team he just helped.
Foul tip, a strikeout with Russell Martin retired. That'll bring up Leonard Navarro. You know, and all the while the Tigers are saying, you know what, we're still trying to win this year. Well, they're 3 games below 500. The Twins are 3 games above 500, and just a half game ahead of the White Sox. It does create an interesting situation in the Avila household, because Al, the father, one of the first orders of business he's going to have to do is determine the fate of his son Alex, who is a free agent after this year.
I know one thing. I would rather negotiate with my dad than a general manager. That's been tough on me.
1-0.
You know, you could always ask for some kind of clause that if I don't get so many at bats, maybe I'm, you know, the assistant bullpen catcher or something and paid equally.
But if on the father's side now, you know, okay,
Yeah.
this, and then you got to take the garbage out, you know, and things like that. Fly to short center. Hicks comes in. And that's out number 2. And before Ryan Goins hits, you can join us August 16th for a Super American Novel Kids Day as the Twins take on the Cleveland Indians. The first 5,000 fans, 14 and under, get a TC plush presented by Delta Airlines. Go to twinsbaseball.com/tickets. Get your tickets today. 2 down, and now Goins.
Meanwhile, Phil Hughes had 2 quick outs here in the bottom half of the second inning.
Missing inside, ball 1. Outside, 2-0.
Goins, one of the Blue Jay hitters that was able to capitalize on Irvin Santana's fastball in yesterday, that he just really jumped out ahead and drove that ball out to right field. Doesn't need a lot of home runs. You see he's only got 3 for the year, but he squared that one up yesterday.
Donaldson hit one later. You expect Donaldson, Bautista, guys like that to hit the home run. You don't expect Ryan Goins to.
He put a really good swing on a pitch. He was sitting on it, and he got it, and he didn't miss it. Those are all things that have to happen for balls to shoot out of the ballpark.
And a strike, 3-1. You wouldn't think Hughes would walk someone like Ryan Goins. He doesn't walk many to begin with. He's on a pace to have about the same number of walks as he had last year. Only walked 16, and he's walked 12 this year. Strike 2. In fact, Hughes could potentially end up with 16 wins as he did last year and walk just 16 guys like he did last year. But he's already shot past the 16 home runs he allowed today, already allowing his 26th. And Goins walks with 2 down. It's the 13th free pass issued by Hughes. And that'll bring up Kevin Pillar.
That's remarkable, really, when you look at that number. I've seen guys in the minor leagues throw 13 walks in one game.
Well, Hughes now going after Pillar. Up and in, ball 1.
That ball really had some tail. It came back in on Pillar. Right, Phil Hughes was trying to go away with that fastball. It had to run back over the plate.
In the now 9 starts since the start of June 19th. That's just the 4th walk issued by Phil Hughes. And he follows ball 1 with strike 1. Pillar hitting a home run at Target Field earlier this year. And a breaking ball left up high. 2-1. High fly to left. And Rosario drifts under it, makes the catch, and it's a scoreless second inning out of the 3rd. It's 1-0 Toronto. Menards on all your home improvement needs. That's the Hockey Hall of Fame, not the one in Evelyn, but the one about 4 blocks north of our hotel here in Toronto. Great exhibit. Gone through it a number of times. Marco Estrada with a 1-0 lead. He's retired all 6 batters. He'll face Aaron Hicks, Kurt Suzuki, and Eduardo Nunez. Hicks lifts it foul. Out of play. Hicks has had a couple of tough games and the average down to 279, but generally the batting average for Hicks has gone up. I mentioned it's stayed pretty stable for Rosario. Up and in, 1-1.
Well, they're going to be watching Aaron Hicks. We talked about, geez, wasn't that long ago he had what, 6 multi-hit games in a row. His average jumped over 300 for a short period.
Strike called, 1-2.
It's funny, Aaron Hicks was asking me about how to hit David Price today.
Really? 2-2.
He asked me basically, did you have that kind of stuff? And I said, no, Aaron, I never had 97. I didn't throw fastballs on the black all the time like he did. I said it was a tough day for everybody. I think he was just looking to be reassured that Price had good stuff.
Tapper to short, hit right at the shortstop Tulowitzki. 1 down. And now Suzuki. Now Price beat the Twins for the 4th time, and the good news, I guess, is that they'll not face him a 5th time this year unless there's a game 163 or in the playoffs somehow. It's talked about a little bit last night. It's amazing what one player can do, in this case a pitcher, to a team's perspective, or in this case it's rotation. The perception was that the Toronto rotation was very thin for any playoff hopes, and then they get Price, and it just seems like it makes the other 4 guys in the rotation even better. Now you're potentially worried about Burley and Dickey and Estrada and Hutchinson because of
no
getting
question.
the number 1 guy.
You know, when you add those kind of potent players to a lineup, everybody in the clubhouse is excited about it, except the guy that's traded for him. He's not too excited.
Yeah. Well, and then the irony of Danny Valencia, who was talking about, you know, how great it was that the Blue Jays were going to get all these players, and really excited to be playing with David Price and all that, and then because of the new players coming to Toronto, he was designated for assignment and picked up by Oakland yesterday. Popped up, and it will spin back into the seats. And trying to get their first base runner. Just 1 run scored yesterday on the Hunter home run, although they did have a couple of leadoff doubles, one of them by Suzuki, and didn't get a chance to score, having filled the bases with nobody out early in the ball game. Foul back.
It's my perspective to look at what the Blue Jays have done, and I don't think they're looking at their season as we need to win the wild card or be a wild card team. They need to look at it from this point on to win their division and go past New York. They're 5.5 games behind the Yankees, and with 2 months left, and I think 13 games against the Yankees, that should be attainable for this team.
And I'm sure in the next road trip we'll go to Baltimore. That'll be the perspective there too. 5.5 games now, could be 3.5 very easily by the end of the week. Suzuki hits it hard to center field. Pilar going back. 2 away. And we'll bring up Nunez. Weekdays don't miss America's pregame as Mike and Molly bring you live reports from around the country. for the latest from NFL training camps and get you ready for a full night of MLB action. Catch America's pregame every weekday at 4 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Here's Nunez. Paul Molitor saying that when the Twins sent down Danny Santana several days ago, he had a meeting with the two remaining shortstops, Eduardo Nunez, Eduardo Escobar, so you both get a chance to play. Escobar got a chance to play a sequence of games in a row, and I don't know, I'd be surprised if now Nunez won't get that same opportunity. See if he can get into the lineup and get some repetition.
Yeah, the only difference between the two of them is Nunez is strictly a right-handed hitter, where Escobar is a switch hitter.
Right.
And I don't know how much factor that'll be on Paul's decisions.
It's pulled hard and foul. Twins will face a right-hander and Hutchinson tomorrow, and then Burley, a left-hander, on Thursday. 0-2. Popped up harmlessly to right field. Bautista's there, and a perfect first trip through the order from Marco Estrada. Fan photo. Use hashtag NorthDataStrongFan. You might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Dick Bramer and Jack Morris here from the Rogers Center. Want to wish our very best to our colleague Jamie Hirsch, who's a little under the weather here in Toronto, but not feeling well. Hopefully she'll be back with us again tomorrow. Strike one to Ben Revere. Revere looking for his first hit after his return to the American League, being dealt from the Phillies to the Blue Jays. Chopped to the right side. Dozier scoops and flips one away. Revere now 0 for 11. Revere taking a little playing time away from another former Twin, Chris Colabello, who is one of the options John Gibbons used in left field. And then, of course, Danny Valencia set free with Revere's acquisition. There's Colabello. Done some awfully big hits for the Blue Jays this year, including one, a home run against Glenn Perkins at Target Field. Up and in, a ball. That's a ball to Troy Tulowitzki, who hit the first pitch he saw to Trevor Plouffe on the ground for the first out. Two and 0. It's not very often that a franchise player like Tulowitzki is traded. And that's what he'd become with Colorado.
Well, especially when he was under control of the Rockies, long-term wise. He had a few more years left on his contract, and there's a lot of people just kind of rolling their eyes saying, well, how did they benefit from this trade?
Wow. Another one deep into the second level, 2-0. That ball was crushed, just like Donaldson's. A no-doubter. And Tulowitzki now with 2 home runs for the Blue Jays. I'm not sure the ball carried that well at Coors Field. That ball was absolutely hammered. 1-0 to Donaldson. Hit one maybe even a little bit farther in the first inning. They swing the bats collectively with malicious intent. They want to do some damage.
Well, I was here a few years back doing Blue Jay games, and really when you thought about the power hitters in the Jays lineup, it was Batista and Encarnacion. And now they've added to Tulowitzki and Donaldson. So now they got 4 guys that can crush. Russell Martin has hit his share of home runs over his career, although as a catcher, you know, your legs get a little weaker and tired this time of year.
2-1. 3-1. Hughes has already issued 1 walk to Ryan Goins. 57 extra base hits. And now 3-2. And we talked a little bit about it last night. You've got to give the people in Toronto here an awful lot of credit, the people who make the decisions. They switched third baseman, plural, with Oakland and upgraded. They switched shortstops with the Rockies and upgraded. And you've got Donaldson, who was the #1 vote getter in the All-Star balloting, and Tulowitzki, who was the franchise player we spoke of with Colorado. Nunez across to Mauer, 2 down.
Well, you got to remember also in the All-Star balloting anyway, Jose Batista was voted in, but wasn't able to play, so they had a substitute player.
And ended up being Brian Dozier.
Brian Dozier, yeah.
2 down now, Bautista. Reyes still owed years and a lot of money, and they just felt that his skills as a shortstop had deteriorated over the last couple of years. And they ended up trading Reyes to the Rockies for a guy who's injury prone but still in his prime. Half swing, strike 2. Couple of solo home runs for Toronto.
Just 2 hits in this ball game so far, both coming from the Jays.
900 feet worth of hits, but just 2 of them.
Well, it doesn't matter. Once they clear 328, it doesn't matter if they're 428, 528, or 628. They all still count the same.
You sound like Mr. Blyleven. If you're going to give them up, give up the long one.
Be proud of them, I guess. I mean, that's the only consolation you have, is knowing that you supplied part of the energy needed to hit it that far.
2-2. Bert's alive and well and playing golf in Florida. He'll be back with us shortly. Very happy to have Jack Morris here in his absence. Earlier, Roy Smalley working games. I'm a pretty lucky guy. I get to work with you 3 guys, and
well, we'll all get together and decide that on our own. But I think
we tell fans from time to time to pay attention, but we shouldn't have to tell the policeman.
Well, the good news is he's got full body armor on.
He almost needed
it's a chest protector similar to the catcher and the umpire. So as long as you don't get hit in other extremities, you're fine.
2-2 to Bautista. Popped up. Backing out of play. Encarnacion on deck. Breaking ball. Foul tip. Suzuki hangs on. Bautista strikes out. But Troy Tulowitzki hits another solo home run, doubling the Toronto lead. Solo home runs, one for Donaldson, one for Tulowitzki. Our CarSoup.com trivia question: which Canadian-born pitcher has the most career wins? Is this as much of a
That's got to be
softy?
A slam dunk,
yeah,
isn't it?
Okay. Here's Brian Dozier, struck out his first time up.
I hope it's major league wins.
Right down the
middle.
middle.
Could be somebody that we're not aware of that could have won like 5,000 games.
Foul back, 2 strikes. Well, this guy was throwing 90-91 in the first inning. Now it's 87-89. Twins haven't hit anything hard.
He's gone through the lineup in order. Perfect through 3.
0-2 to Dozier. That hits the pitcher. Dozier hustling, and he will get the first hit. Hit off the lower leg of Estrada, and Dozier is aboard with an infield hit.
Fastball away, and Doge just went up the middle with it. That was pretty good hitting right there. Goins had no play at first base.
And now Mauer hit a fly ball to left, his first time up. Getting a leadoff batter on for the first time, it seems, in a long while. Down and away, ball 1.
Well, Joe's been around a long time, and he should know that this guy's basically featuring 2 pitches. He's throwing a changeup and a fastball, and he's got to pick which one he wants to try to zero in on.
And on the outside corner, and Joe looks back at Tim Welke. Show with just 5 runs batted in over the last 5 weeks. Fouled back 1-2.
Yonder Navarro, the catcher in today's game, is given a lot of fastballs upper part of the zone. He's showing the glove where he wants those pitches to be thrown by Marco Estrada. You don't see that a lot by catchers, but he's gone up in the zone quite a bit.
One down.
Third strikeout for Estrada.
And that'll bring up Trevor Plouffe. Plouffe with a ground ball to third his first time up. In front of the changeup, strike one.
That changeup just has really good dip at the end. It really sinks hard in the last maybe 10 feet of its path to the strike zone.
Plouffe's first at bat, we threw him 5-6 fastballs in a row and then got a ground ball off a changeup. Now he started with the changeup to get strike one. And outside with the fastball. Estrada broke in with the Nationals back in 2008. Picked up by the Brewers on waivers in his first year with the Blue Jays. Down and away, 2-1. Plouffe moving up to the third spot in the batting order. Dozier diving back to the bag. Twins down a couple of runs, probably not in the market to steal a base anyway, but talking with Brian this afternoon, the running surface here is very, very slow. We've talked about the artificial turf. Generally that makes the runners go just a little bit faster, but here on this spongy, cushiony artificial turf, it's noticeably a slower surface to run on. Plouffe takes ball 3, 3-1. We saw what it does to a baseball yesterday. There was a smash to the gap in left center field. It looked like it would have run through the gap in every ballpark but this, but held to just a single.
Well, there's only 5 pieces of dirt on this field. Everything else is a rug.
3-1. And ball 4. Twins took a couple of walks to fill the bases in the 4th inning yesterday. Now a single and a walk, and Sano comes to the plate.
First walk of the game issued by Marco Estrada, so Twins have runner in scoring position, first time of the game.
Sano hit a line drive, wobbled, knuckled, sailed, did something crooked on the way to Tulowitzki, but he stayed with it. Ball off the plate. Sano now with 85 at bats, 36 strikeouts, 19 walks, 23 hits, 11 of them for extra bases. Strike taken, 1-1.
I just have the sense that Sano's kind of dialing it in right here. He can do something good off a hitter or a pitcher like this because he doesn't have a whole lot of break as far as a spinning breaking ball.
1-1. He's seen 3 fastballs, 2 outside and 1 that caught the corner.
You just have to really be patient and wait for that ball to come to you. He's not going to be David Price. He's not going to blow you away with heat.
I'd like to think this is a dangerous pitch for Marco Estrada. 2-1 to a very powerful hitter. Ball in the outside corner, and Foxtrot showed it at least away and maybe even up. Not in the strike zone. 2-2. See pitch 4 just off the plate. 2-2 now to Sano. Hold back, going right down the middle. Belt high, and he spun it over the screen.
We've seen a lot of counts with Sano where he's hitting with 2 strikes. He's taking a lot of walks.
Speed pitch off the corner. Now it's 3-2.
Yeah, that's one of the first breaking balls, curveballs that Estrada's thrown, and that was a over-the-top curveball.
And everything has been middle away to Sano. Now it's 3-2. Ball 4. There you go.
Yeah, another very good at bat. Just being patient. He's not offering, and I'm not sure he had a pitch that he could really make an offer at. All of those were off the plate quite a bit. Back-to-back walks now loads the bases. The Twins had a similar situation yesterday, only bases loaded with nobody out. Couldn't muster a run off David Price.
Hunter provided the only run scoring offense for the Twins last night when he homered off of David Price. But of course, a solo home run. Now the 40-year-old veteran hoping to produce a hit here to get a run in, maybe a couple, maybe more. Hunter struck out on a letter high fastball his first time up. Fly ball to the right field corner, chased by Bautista. In the corner, Bautista with the catch. Front 2 runners will tag. Twins are on the board. It's 2-1. Dozier in from third base. The Sano walk leads to a run on the very next pitch. Dozier forced to third base. First and third, 2 down now for Rosario.
That ball had enough carry. Brian Dozier climbing the ladder and the league leaders there with runs scored. But that ball had enough carry that Torrey picks up an RBI.
Come on, Rosie, let's go.
Dozier 76, tying him with Trout. Donaldson 1 behind. And here's Rosario with the tying run at third and 2 down. Strike 1. Rosario with a fly to center his first time up. Rosario in his rookie season, 70 hits, 13 doubles, 6 triples, 5 home runs, nearly hit for the cycle a few days ago. And last night, Adrian Beltre hit for the cycle for the 3rd time in his career. And he completed the cycle by the 5th inning. 1-1. Fouled back 1-2.
He's had a few more at bats than Eddie Rosario,
right.
But yeah,
with 3 cycles, that's never been done more than that.
Beltre is one of those great hitters in baseball. As he ages, though, the injuries have really kept him off the ballpark, but you know, he's the guy that can do that.
1-2 to Rosario. Rosario on a tailing fastball got a piece.
The Twins doing a little bit better job of adding to the pitch count of Marco Estrada this inning. He went through the first 3 in order. But the Twins have had a couple walks, base hit, scored a run. Still have runners on the corners.
1-2. Drop the breaking ball over. A called third strike. The Twins get 1 and leave 2. It's a 2-1 ball game.
Off the plate. You can see Phil Hughes' body language there. He wasn't happy with that one. He came back through a cutter that didn't do much, and then he followed it up with a cutter that really didn't do anything except go a long way. Kurt Suzuki was sitting outer half. The ball just spun, and those balls are worse than backup sliders. When they don't get them out there where you want them, Tulowitzki showed him where not to throw it.
1 strike to Edwin Encarnacion. Blue Jays have 2 runs on about 900 feet worth of home runs. The Twins got their run with an infield hit, 2 walks, and a fly ball. That's
2 hits in the game for the Jays and only 1 hit for the Twins.
1-1, and now 2-1.
Phil gave up 10 hits to the Mariners in his last start on over 5 innings. He's only allowed 2 hits today, but those 2 hits are solo home runs.
3-1, third 3-ball count. Hughes walked Goins. Back in the 2nd inning. Encarnacion, Martin, and Navarro in Toronto's 4th. Foul, 3-2. Jacoby, coaching staff here in Toronto, sitting next to Tulowitzki. Full count to Toronto's cleanup batter. Second walk of the ball game, and that's almost headline making material for Hughes. It's just the 2nd time this year he's walked as many as 2 in a game. A leadoff walk in the 4th. The Twins and the Indians square off at Target Field August 14th through the 16th. Friday night includes Friday night fireworks with music presented by Cool 108 and a special happy hour at Barrio from 4:30 to 5:30. Saturday is a DQ Sensational Saturday, and Sunday is a Super America Not Whole Kids Day. Call 800-33-TWINS. Visit twinsbaseball.com. Get your tickets. Here's Martin. Strike one. Martin went down swinging his first time up. Hughes has gotten 5 ground ball outs. Here's a deep fly to right. 2 strikes. Twins go to Cleveland after Thursday night's game here, and the Twins won't have to face Jason Kipnis, who's been Cleveland's best player this year. He's expected to miss 2-3 weeks with a bum right shoulder. That's our Sanford Health injury report. I'm concerned about Lonnie Chisenhall being in the lineup, but he was in the Cleveland lineup tonight. A very disappointing year for the Indians. That gets by Suzuki, and Encarnacion to second base. 1-2.
That might be more rare than 2 walks. A wild pitch from Phil Hughes. Ball in the dirt. Suzuki.
A wild pitch will be charged, but that's a ball Kurt will tell you he should have blocked. 1-2. Hughes has struck out Martin in the second inning. Would like to get him here in the fourth. In the dirt again, 2-2. After walking Encarnacion, now Hughes has worked the count full to Martin. He had him 0-2. Now it's 3-2.
I think this is what kind of frustrates Phil, in the fact that he's got to throw breaking balls, but sometimes he doesn't have a lot of confidence in his command of his breaking balls. And you can see he's misfired on quite a few of his curveballs, hasn't been able to locate them in the strike zone. So now he might have to go back to that heater.
Tap to third. Plouffe has a long throw and a good play by Plouffe, and a good base running play by Encarnacion, who held his ground near the cutout area of second base. And as soon as Plouffe threw across, he advanced to third.
Well, he also recognized that Plouffe wasn't going to be able to get a lot on that throw way deep in the hole. He was going to have to one-hop it to Mauer. And Edwin also understands that the turf can really suck up a little of the energy of the baseball. So he waits and then goes. No play for Joe. You can see how Edwin freezes there and then takes off and advances over to third.
Runner at third, 1 down for Deanna Navarro. Hit a fly ball to short center. Aaron Hicks caught it his first time up. Hicks is getting most of his outs tonight on ground balls. Down low, ball 1.
Changeup starts out Navarro.
6 ground ball outs, a couple of strikeouts, and only 2 fly ball outs. And a strike, 1-1. Not Hughes' type of out distribution.
Well, and really not his type of pitch selection today either. He's thrown a lot of breaking balls. I think he has to throw breaking balls and off-speed pitches to this lineup so that his fastball, when he throws it, is going to be a little more of a surprise than for these guys just to sit on that. The cutter has been his nemesis all year when he doesn't throw it away or front door, which I think is a worthless pitch in my opinion, but it does surprise some hitters. The reason I say that is you just have to be so perfect with the front door cutter. And you want it to be right on the corner. So if you miss in, you're off the plate in, and it's going to be a ball. And if you miss away, you're center cutting it right down the middle. So really that pitch should be just off the plate away.
2-2 to Navarro, and a strikeout, out number 2. Now Hughes is one good at bat away from stranding his leadoff walk at third base.
I think that was a cutter right there that Phil went to, but he threw it down in the zone. Got on top of it a little bit. The ball sunk.
And now Goins, who drew a walk in the second.
Actually, that might have been a changeup.
Infield back at normal depth. Twins just got a run on the top of the 4th. Swing and a miss on the fastball.
That's really where Phil likes to throw that pitch. If he can get the hitters to chase up, he's got it going. That's what his bread and butter is.
One strike to Goins. Outside.
You missed by a lot there. You saw the fastball in from Suzuki, and that ball was a good foot outside. Suzuki had to really go out to his left to get that pitch. So a little bit of a battle here, but nothing hurts so far. He has 2 outs and a runner at third. He just needs to find a way to get Goins here, get out of this inning.
There's a bunt and a beautiful one. A run won't score, but the ball dies in the thick artificial turf, and Goins, it's a bunt single. Encarnacion came down about a third of the way, but he didn't try to score, and that'll pass the baton to Pilar.
There are no cutouts for infield dirt down the lines at this ballpark. You see the patches. There's a patch at home, first, second, third, and then of course the mound. And talking to John Gibbons, the manager of the Blue Jays, this new turf, he said, is perfect for bunting because it really absorbs the ball and it stays true. Wherever it starts, it usually ends up. So if you can start it in fair territory, it usually stays in fair territory.
And now Pilar, a fly ball to left his first time up. Blue Jays threatening to score in an unconventional way. A leadoff walk, now a bunt single. First and third, 2 down. 2-0. %53% uses strike percentage, which is pretty low for him. 74 pitches, 39 strikes. 3-0. Ben Revere on deck.
Phil discussed it with Tim Wilkie, the home plate umpire, that he thought that was a strike. It was definitely right over the middle of the plate, but I think Wilkie thought it might be low.
6 3-ball count for Hughes. That's usually about a month's worth. Three and one. Three and one to Toronto center fielder. Chopper to third. Out of the dirt. Blue fires high, and Mauer got the tag on right before Pilar got to the bag. And we'll see whether the Blue Jays challenge. DeMarlo Hale is going to hold everybody up here. They may want to take another look at it. Howard putting the tag down right before Pilar. Yeah, I think they got the tag right before his right foot hit the bag. So I think the out call will hold up, and they are not going to challenge. Hughes pitches out of a jam in the fourth. Pepsi fans of the game, Twins down 2-1, waiting for a foul ball, waiting for a crooked number put up by the Twins lineup. Here's Aaron Hicks, and he takes up and away ball one. Hicks with a bouncer to short his first time up. The Toronto seventh place hitter with 2 outs and a runner at third dropped down a bunt. You think Hicks ought to consider it here?
Well, Donaldson thinks he might.
Instead of 2 hopper right to Encarnacion, and Hicks is quickly retired. Suzuki will bat next. Paul Molitor said as well as John Gibbons that this is a great bunting surface here. The ball rolls very slowly on this rug. Suzuki with a fly to center, his first time up. Pitch is up, ball one.
Very quiet crowd, very low hitting game. Jays have now 3 hits, Twins just the 1 hit, but only trailing by 1 run. And I don't know, we've said this, it's starting to become a broken record. You know, they just need to get it going.
Ball travel better here with the roof closed than with the roof open?
I think it does, especially now. Again, we mentioned in the game yesterday that they've taken out the glass in what used to be a restaurant out in center field. And I don't know how that affected the airflow in this building, but it was I really don't remember balls flying when I played here when that was all full of glass out there in center. The way it is now and the way it was a couple years ago when I worked here.
1-2 to Suzuki. Popped up near the Twins dugout. Encarnacion with room. 2-1. Going to bring up Eduardo Nunez. Twins got a leadoff hit. Dozier hit the ball hard. It hit the pitcher Estrada and rolled toward first base. So, but technically it was an infield hit. Then a couple of walks and a fly ball to right field, scoring the Twins run. strike on the outside corner.
Another changeup from Estrada. He's basically gotten through 4 innings, from my calculation, only throwing 2 curveballs. It's been fastball, changeup.
Threw a curveball to freeze Rosario and strike him out looking to end the 4th, and the threat within. 1-1. Fly ball, right field, hit right at Bautista. And now 5 in a row again, set down by Estrada after the walk to Sano.
To what's next by NorthlandFord.com and your local Northland Ford dealer. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here.
2-1 Blue Jays in a contrast in the Toronto hits. The 3rd hit was a bunt single that went about 45 feet. But the other 2 were tape measure shots. One off of the bat of Donaldson, one off the bat of Tulowitzki. And now Revere squares to bunt, takes ball 1. Revere, Tulowitzki, and Donaldson to face Phil Hughes here in the 5th. Revere hit a ground ball to Dozier his first time up. Now 0 for 11 with Toronto. It's another ground ball to Dozier. Bobbles it, picks it up, fires, got it. And that's the concern among infielders and outfielders on this surface. What angle do you take on these ground balls, and do you dare take the route or the choice that Dozier made there to play back for that extra hop?
The only thing that you really can do is take as many reps as you can to get a good feel for how it's going to play. And the Jays definitely have an advantage by taking ground balls all the time here. The Twins coming in for the first time on this new surface, they have to get a feel for it.
And usually teams have to adjust to a fast surface. When the Twins go down to Arlington, Texas, that natural grass surface down there is so fast. It's like playing on ceramic tile. Now we'll see what Plouffe does with this ground ball. Tulowitzki is retired 2 down. But this is different where it's an artificial turf field, but you have to allow for the slowness rather than the speed.
Yeah, this turf is a little bit longer than what we've seen other fields, and it's got a lot of that rubberized particle to kind of hold it and bind it together. So it's got a lot of give to it, a lot of sponge, and so far anyway, it really does. Well, in some ways, like you just mentioned, Texas, Kansas City, where the heat, if they don't get the water on those fields, they can bake in a hurry and get rock hard.
There's Donaldson. Not that this was a factor or that anyone else cares, but it's wonderful for broadcasters and other non-uniform people to walk around. It's a very comfortable surface, not hard at all, and you can actually feel the give under your shoes when you're walking on it.
For those that don't maybe know, that the Blue Jays would love to put grass on this field. The Toronto Argonauts, the Canadian football team, plays here in the same facility, so they've got the turf there for that.
Hot ground ball to Nunez. Lob to Mauer. 3 ground ball outs for Hughes, who's suddenly becoming the second coming of Kyle Gibson. You might find yourself in the Minnesota Lottery winner circle, where you could win $100 worth of lottery scratch-off tickets courtesy of the Minnesota Lottery. Brian Dozier did a smash off the leg of Estrada, leading off the 4th, got an infield hit, and eventually came around to score. Strike 1.
I was just handed a note that the Argonauts, will be playing at BMO Field next year, and that's a soccer stadium here in Toronto. And so the Blue Jays may be considering putting grass in next year. They'll have carpet barely used, so maybe there will be an auction. You know, they auctioned off the Metrodome roof. You know, maybe you want to buy some carpet to go with it.
I have in my office a little, like a welcome mat from the turf used during the '87 and '91 World Series.
I have some of the roof.
Swing and a miss, 1 and 2.
I do. There's a.
In what form? Your wife has a purse made out of it?
The guy that bought the entire Metrodome roof was cutting it up and putting it into memorabilia pieces. And there's a print that an artist did, and he gave me one if I signed a few, and that was a good deal for me and him.
Right.
And then I also got some of the, just like you, it's a memorable little plaque that says part of the Metrodome roof used in the '87-'91 World Series.
2 and 2. You know, it's odd when they demolished the Metrodome, took the seats out and all that. And you know, there are people that made available to people who wanted to buy them, like seats from the Metrodome. I didn't have any interest in that for some reason, but yet I've got 2 seats from Metropolitan Stadium in my house.
In the house?
In the house, yes.
So you sit on them?
Occasionally, yeah. There's a called 3rd strike, 1 down on the 6th. They've been bolted into a stand, and you can actually use them.
5th strikeout for Estrada.
And now Mauer. That's
Just froze him. Tailing fastball just came right back over the middle, and when you're not looking for it, it comes back in. You think it's off the plate. Not much Brian Dozier could do there once he was committed.
Mauer 0 for 2, struck out swinging his last time up. Taken low, ball 1. It's driven to left, but Revere is right there. Fairly well hit ball for out number 2. Second time that Mauer's hit a ball to his former teammate. We'll bring up Blue. CarSoup.com trivia question. I believe it's the Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins.
I can't disagree with that at all. It's got to be. Yep.
284 career wins. And Fergie usually comes to the Twin Cities at Twins Fest to make appearances and sign autographs. Trevor Plouffe takes low, ball 1. Plouffe drew a walk in the 4th inning when the Twins combined all their efforts to get an infield hit, a couple of walks, and a fly ball to score a run. This one hit to the deep right field corner, chased by Bautista. And goes into a slide and comes up a little short. Ball just a row or so back into the seats. If the Blue Jays do put grass in here, I can assure you that the Players Association will be very involved in the ballpark here and actually making a warning track rather than the different colored carpeting.
Oh yeah, it'll be a dirt warning track. It, I think, will change the dynamics of this ballpark too, because there's going to be some more moisture in the surface instead of this dry surface, which I think helps the ball carry. So it wouldn't surprise me when they put grass in that the ball doesn't carry as well.
It's deep to the right field corner, but it's going to turn right and go foul.
But they would have to dig out this whole undersurface, because right now it's concrete underneath it.
Right.
So they'd have to make some way of draining it. It'd be quite an undertaking, but their plans underway already to figure it out.
That foul. Yeah, you've got to have a state-of-the-art drainage system now, as Target Field does.
Wonder if they'll go to get that Colorado grass. Every other stadium, it's mandatory that they get it from Colorado. And maybe Canada will be exempt because, have a tough time getting it through customs.
You mean bluegrass, right? You mean
it's grown in Colorado. That's all I know.
1 and 2. Tap to short. It's the third baseman Donaldson cutting it off. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Estrada. He's completed 6 innings and 5 times he sent the Twins down in order.
drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's, with $1.69 iced coffees and 69-cent vanilla cones, you can get totes treats excited all summer long at McDonald's.
Jose Bautista leads off the sixth, and he takes strike one over the inside corner. Blue Jays won back-to-back World Championships in 1992 and 1993. They've not been back to the playoffs since. They're trying to move ahead of the Twins in the wild card standings here tonight. Fouled back, 2 strikes. You know, I thought you brought up an interesting thing in our game open, as the Blue Jays have now finally caught the Twins. The Orioles have caught the Twins, and truth be told, the Twins have had more to do with that than either the Blue Jays or the Orioles, because the Twins have come down. They were 10 games above 500 the first game after the break, and then have really struggled since. But you know, the Blue Jays are thrilled to be where they are, and the Orioles are thrilled to be where they are, and yet, you know, it's almost.
I guess that's the perspective, you know, is what you've done lately. It's the way it's always been.
2-2.
But again, a veteran team would be a little bit more at ease under these situations, because they know how much is left in the season. So you don't panic, you don't press, you just go out and play the game.
It's 2-2, and that one landed in the left-handed batter's box. Twins at one point were a season high 11 games above the 500 mark. That was at the end of their wonderful month of May. They were 30-19. But then they went to Oakland right after the break, won that first ball game, and they were 10 games above 500, and still in pretty good shape, one would think anyway. 3-2 to Bautista. High fly center field, and Hicks comes in. One down. And from this point forward, you know, when things are going your way, you're saying, oh boy, we get a chance to play the Blue Jays. We get a chance to play the Orioles, because they're the team you're competing with, but the Twins are just struggling across the board right now.
Well, great point, really. It's all on what you think you can do. And again, great teams can't wait to face the teams in front of them. You want to go in there and show them who's boss, that you know, we're gonna take you, and we're gonna show you why we're better than you. And I think the Jays are starting to feel that attitude. You know, there's a lot of veterans on this team that have never smelled any postseason either.
That's a fair ball past Kloof. Encarnacion digs around first. Rosario's got a good arm. Here's his throw to second, and not handled by Dozier. Brian tried to backhand the one-hop throw and never got control of it. It's a one-out double for Encarnacion.
Rosario did a great job there. That ball was going to have to ricochet off the wall, and he had to play the carom in order to get that ball. He did a great job, and then threw a perfect ball to Dozier, but Dozier kind of got a little anxious. He had plenty of time, but you never know when you hear footsteps. Watch this carom off the corner that Rosario plays perfectly. Makes a nice strong throw. It does one hop Brian Dozier.
Almost did a face plant at second, but it's a double. And now strike one to Russell Martin, who was struck out and bounced to third.
So it's the second time that Encarnacion has been on base. He reached third base after walking in the fourth inning.
Check swing, strike. 0-2. Hughes with 3 strikeouts, including Martin, leading off the second inning. Low.
Phil just hasn't had a real good feel for the curveball today. He's still throwing it, which I give him credit for, and he's not making too many mistakes in the zone. He's really kind of yanked it off to his glove side.
Now 2-2. You see Fiend, Ryan, O'Rourke getting loose. Hughes approaching the 100 pitch level. I won't call it a limit, a level.
It's been kind of a limit though for Phil. It has been. Of all the Twins pitchers, he has given way himself many times at around 100 pitchers. I know that Neil Allen's asked him, Paul's asked him, and he'll admit that he's running out of gas. So he's not shy about that.
And that's surprising. I mean, this guy has reached 100 pitches in only 3 of his starts this year, and never more than 104.
And that's why there's activity in the pen right now. He needs a couple outs here. This is still a 1-run game. And he could get through this half inning.
High and deep to right. Hunter back onto the different colored carpet, and he makes the catch out number 2. And Encarnacion again goes to third base. Join us September 4th for the Lynx Night Out ticket offer. Welcomed by Fox Sports North. For just $30, fans receive a ticket to the game, craft beer sampling, and a commemorative Lynx beer stein. For details, visit foxsportsnorth.com and click on upcoming events. As it was important for Hughes to strand Encarnacion at third in the 4th, just as important, maybe more so here in the 6th.
Yeah, because if he can get this out here, he can go in the dugout, and if the Twins could get him a lead, he still could pick up a win. But if he leaves the game,
to the gap, and the Blue Jays will get a 2-out hit and another run. Navarro is kind of jogging into second base with an RBI double, and 2 doubles in the inning, and the Blue Jays take a 3-1 lead.
Another ball left up on over the heart of the plate.
And that'll bring up Goins. And here comes Paul Molitor. Hughes doesn't look like he's going to have an opportunity to complete 6 innings. So Hughes with 99 pitches thrown will come out of ball game. And in 22 starts, Phil Hughes still has reached 100 pitches just 4 times this year.
Very good in general. He's making his 12th appearance. A tremendous ERA for Ryan. And Paul Molitor wants him to try to get out the left-handed hitting Ryan Goins right here.
up and in, and I don't know if that crossed up Suzuki or not, but it's ball one.
Navarro would still is out at second base, and that would be a run for Phil Hughes. So the book is not closed yet on Hughes, but a lot better job, only allowing 5 hits in the game. But he's gone early again.
There's a strike, 2-1. When the team has been struggling over time as it has, and the bullpen has sprung some leaks as it has, what O'Rourke has done has been significant. To be able to come in and maybe just 1 out at a time, but get some big outs. Left-handers are 1 for 19 against him.
It is crazy how it seems to trend different directions during the course of the year.
And just the second left-handed hit. Hicks charges. They'll hold Navarro. And now the throw.
Nobody cuts it off.
Nobody cut it off, and that allowed Goins to alertly go to second base. Hicks with the throw, and it wasn't an errant throw. It was on line to the plate, but there wasn't anybody there to cut it off. So a single for Goins. He goes to second on a throw. Trevor Plouffe was the closest player in the vicinity.
Yeah, he didn't quite get all the way over there, but I'm not sure who was supposed to be the cutoff man there. But there wasn't one, and that's why Goins heads up base running. They're not going to send Navarro around. He doesn't run at all.
This is just a guess, and we will check, but I believe the cutoff man is supposed to be Mauer on that play. If you've got a runner at third base, Navarro, unless the assumption is that they would have sent him, and then the third baseman needs to be involved. We'll check with Paul Molitor either after the game today or tomorrow. But now, because of the cutoff not being made and Goins alertly going to second, now an intentional walk to Pilar, and the bases are loaded, and this game can get out of hand very quickly if Revere gets his first hit as a Blue Jay.
Well, it's still within reach if he could get an out right here.
Revere 0 for 12 for his new team. O'Rourke has just given up just his second hit to a left-handed batter. Nice save by Suzuki. A breaking ball that bit down into the right-handed batter's box. Ball one. Fastball and a strike. Revere against lefties. Phillies and Blue Jays hitting just .232. All the way 1-2. .310 against righties. The doubles have scored a run, and now the Blue Jays have loaded the bases. 1-2 to Ben Revere. 2-2. Center field. Hunter to the gap. ends the threat. The Blue Jays get another run on the 2 doubles. O'Rourke leaves the bases full. It's 3-1.
Way upper deck, get the Blue Jays on the board early, then Troy Tulowitzki, he follows with his own home run. And Marco Estrada, in his first appearance against the Twins this year, has been Cy Young. He has been almost perfect, only allowing 1 hit. He's really commanded his pitches well. He's changed speeds well. And he's made it tough for the Twins with just that 1 hit.
Miguel Sano to lead off the 7th. It's the middle of the Twins lineup. Sano, Hunter, and Rosario facing Marco Estrada. Showed you when we introduced Estrada a very good opponent batting average. Very low. Boy, the Twins have run into some good pitching, and Estrada has handcuffed them here. An infield hit. It was a smash off the bat of Dozier, but it's one of the few well hit balls here tonight. And Sano takes up an in, ball 1. Sano hit a liner his first time up to Tulowitzki, and then he drew a walk to fill the bases in the 4th. Swing and a miss. On an off-speed pitch, 1-1.
Very good location, down and away. Ball really diving at the end with that changeup.
And shaving the outside corner.
Navarro did a great job to frame that outside fastball right there and bring it back in.
Fouled back. Sano got a fastball, and that's the thing. This fastball, it's 89, 90 miles per hour. We've seen swings and misses, and second time now the Sano's had one right where he likes it, and he's fouled it back. Nothing about his delivery that's especially deceptive, is there?
No. Today in batting practice, Tom Bernanski was throwing him fastballs away, and he tried to get him to shoot the ball to right side. Sano's so strong, he was hitting him over the fence that way.
Half swing. Did he check? He did. Woodring the first base up. Said it's ball 2. Yeah, that could very easily have been called a strike. Sano trying to get aboard here, leading off the 7th inning. Once again, the Twins running out of outs. And now 3-2.
Former Mariner Mark Lowe came over to the Jays a couple days ago. In the pen now.
Foul tip, and Navarro can't hang on. An extended at bat for Sano. The check swing could have ended the at bat. And that foul tip could have been caught as well. One more swing. With Hunter on deck. High fly to right. Bautista with the catch. 1-1. And that'll bring up Hunter. Torrey with the only run batted in the game last night with a home run, and the only one so far tonight with a fly ball to right. Came up with the bases loaded and 1 out, and lifted a fly ball to the corner, caught by Bautista. Dozier scored. And now on the ground to Tulowitzki. Stretched by Encarnacion. 2 down. Twins with 3 base runners. They all came in the 4th inning.
Pitch count at 98 for Marco Estrada. There is activity in the Jays pen. I don't know where John Givens, DeMarlo Hale, the acting manager, and Pete Walker, the pitching coach, feel this guy, but he's young and he's pitched extremely well for the Jays. Better second half than the first half.
Breaking ball. Ball 1 to Rosario. Fly ball to center and a called 3rd strike. Two and 0. With Hicks on deck. Twins have taken 2 walks tonight. They came consecutively in the 4th. Kloof and Sano filled the bases in the 4th. And down by a couple of runs. Twins have Rosario take. It's 3-1. Hicks on deck. Deep to right field. This ball is carrying and off the wall. And Rosario digging for second, and he's in with it. Pop-up slide and a double with 2 outs in the 7th. Another extra base hit for Rosario, and that'll bring up Hicks as the tying run.
Really the first ball hit with any kind of authority against Estrada today. And maybe that take made a difference. DeMarlo Hale had 101 pitches. Decided that's enough for his right-hander, and they're going to go to the bullpen.
So it's going to be Mark Lowe coming in with the Twins getting just their 2nd hit against the departing Marco Estrada.
On the 2 hits, you see strikeouts early in the game to Brian Dozier, then Torrey Hunter underneath the fastball. Joe Mauer late on a fastball. We're talking about fastballs that are around 90 miles an hour. Drops a curveball to Eddie Rosario, and then another tailing fastball to Brian Dozier. Gets 5 for the night, only allowing the 2 walks. So he pitched a great game for the Jays.
We'll see if the Twins can string hits in back-to-back at bats against Mark Lowe, newly acquired from the Seattle Mariners. Hicks 0 for 2 with 2 ground balls against Estrada. Fastball outside, ball 1. This guy is healthy again this year. He's had an assortment of nagging injuries. He was outstanding for the Mariners, and he's going to be a key guy, one would think, for the Blue Jays in spots like this.
Well, the Twins just saw Mark Lowe in the first game of the last homestand against the Mariners, and then he was traded over here. Lowe pitched an inning in that game.
It's hit to left, hanging in the air for Ben Revere. Lowe gets the final out of the 7th. Rosario stranded at second. It's still 3-1. Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag North Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. He's got just 1 run last night on a home run. The run tonight on a fly ball. And Casey Fiend into the ball game here to keep this a 3-1 game. Fiend will face the top of the Toronto batting order. Tulowitzki with a home run back in the 3rd inning. That made it 2-0.
You see the numbers for Casey. This is his 35th appearance, all in relief.
Blue Jays with 3 runs on 4 extra base hits, 2 home runs and a pair of doubles in the 6th. Outside, ball 1. Good to see Casey's velocity back. A couple of 94-mile-per-hour fastballs, both of them off the plate.
Interesting to watch his warm-up tosses. He was trying to pump himself up a little bit there when he got the ball back from Trevor Plouffe to start the inning. It was like, and I've seen guys do that. They're almost like madmen out there. They're trying to get themselves fired up to really focus and give it all they have.
A couple of fastballs off the plate, the cutter over the plate. And this ball hit down the line and foul by pushes Tulowitzki, just missed an extra base hit. And he's standing at second. He doesn't know that the ball was ruled foul. Now this ball this play can be challenged. Look at the hook on this ball. And you could see it
almost looked like a little puff of white, even though I know it was on the outside of it. But did it get, again, it's just like the strike zone, any part of that corner.
Because it's behind the umpires, it's a reviewable play. And DeMarlo Hale, in fact, I think he's checking, said, hey, can I challenge that? And of course he can. And Welke said, sure, we'll take a look at it. But I think the little confusion as to whether the acting manager could even challenge this, but he can. So we'll have a delay here. Anything in front of the umpires can't be challenged. And I asked Paul Molitor about that yesterday. That, can we do that? Can we challenge plays in front of the umpire? Would he like to see it? And he said, sure. And I don't know, frankly, we talked about this the other day on the air. I don't know why we shouldn't be able to do that. In this case, if any of the white granulated particles pop up in the air, this could ostensibly be called a fair ball. Let's take a look.
It looks like it hit square in the middle of the white line there, but
I think by the width of the baseball, that's a foul ball.
I think part of the ball hit the white line.
Foul ball. Tulowitzki, by the way, did the right thing. He did not know, or maybe he did. The ball, I think, bounced into the seats.
Yeah.
And you just go ahead and continue the play, realizing that it might be a challenge. In this case, it was. And the call stands.
So DeMarlo Hale will lose his challenge from this point on.
1 minute 25 seconds. 2-2 the count to Tulowitzki. Now if it's a well hit ball and it's in front of the umpire and it crosses over or nearly over the third base bag, that's a non-reviewable play, and that's one of the plays many people think should be challenged. Deep fly to right, one down. Donaldson put together an extended hitting streak against the Twins and home runs in each of the first two games of this series.
Yeah, yesterday's ball game, early in the game, he shoots one out to right. There's the one for yesterday. Tonight, upper deck in left field. Phil Hughes, a hanger. He's got some power.
And now Donaldson with one strike here in the seventh inning. Outside corner, Donaldson beats himself on the head over it. 0-2. John Gibbons saying of Donaldson, he's kind of a free spirit. I think what do you say, he's a different cat before the game, but very intense during the game. And Blue Jays, the clear winners in the swap of third baseman. Take nothing away from Brett Laurie, but this guy's going to be a middle of the order hitter. Actually, he's hitting second here in Toronto because there are other guys that are going to hit in the middle of the order. Dribbled up the line and a foul ball.
I think it's fair to say that he is what the Blue Jays were trying and so patiently waiting for Brett Laurie to become. And his offense just never did develop. And talking to some of my friends here in the Blue Jay organization, they just said that Donaldson's got a great game plan. He rarely swings out of the zone when he's behind in counts. Doesn't chase very often. He goes up there with a game plan where he looks for a pitch, and if he doesn't get it, he's fooled sometimes. He takes strike three right down the middle occasionally. but he sticks with his game plan. If he's sitting on a breaking ball, he'll wait for a breaking ball.
And a half swing will strike out Donaldson. 2 down.
Tried to hold up there, but that one did get by his game plan. Riding fastball here that he just couldn't lay off of.
2 down. Good start to the 7th inning for Casey Fiend. And now Bautista.
Oh.
Inside. Fox Tracks brought to you by Carrier. 2-0. Dozier 0 for, or excuse me, Bautista 0 for 3. Pop a mile in the air. Blew plenty of time to run near the dugout, and he overran. That ball hit too high. And Blue took about 2 steps too many. Bautista will get another swing.
Well, this thing will go unnoticed as, oh well, but again, it's an opportunity. To me, it's just one of those things. That ball was hit so high. You gotta somehow figure out a way to catch that ball. Now he has another shot.
Doink to right,
and that's what happens.
Bautista gets a flared single with 2 down in the 7th. And that'll bring up Encarnacion. Encarnacion hooked the double into the left field corner. Played well by Rosario, and a 1-hop throw. A little bit off the bag, and Dozier couldn't handle it. Encarnacion got his double, and then 2 batters later, Navarro hit a double. And the Blue Jays had their 3rd run. Up high, ball 1. High fly to center. And Hicks is over a few steps. And that ends it. On to the 8th. Toronto 3. The Twins 1. opportunities. The Tigers have had a very disappointing year, and it's going to be an interesting last 2 months. Here's Aaron Sanchez. He's had an interesting day. He was given a 3-game suspension for his part in the situation with the Royals here on Sunday. He hit Alcides Escobar and got a 3-game suspension for being ejected, and he's appealing it. That's why he's in the game now. Suzuki the batter. There's strike one. Suzuki, Nunez, and Dozier due up. One and one.
Jay's pretty excited about the right arm of this young relief pitcher. And there's even though he may serve a suspension, I promise you in the baseball world there's a lot of guys wearing the Jays uniform pretty happy that he did what he did in that situation against Kansas City, who seems to be throwing at everybody nowadays.
Chopper to short, Tulowitzki on his heels, and now Suzuki evades the tag until Encarnacion finally puts it on him, one down. Tulowitzki kind of backpedaling, and whether it's the playing surface or not, he had kind of an awkward throw across the diamond, one away.
Yeah, it's almost like he kind of sidearmed that ball and lifted it. He had a lot of time to throw Suzuki out. Watch the throw again from Tulowitzki. You can see he gets under it a little bit and launches it up in the air.
Yeah.
Edwin, all he has to do is step on the bag. Not thinking
You're
about
right.
that.
I thought about that. One down. Here's Nunez. One strike. Nunez 0 for 2. A couple of flies to right so far. And now strike 2 taken. Chop foul. Roughly 2 months to play. And whether it's Nunez or Escobar or an unnamed player, somebody needs to stabilize things at short, in the field and at the plate. Nunez strikes out. No foul tip. Nope. Strike 3. Navarro just didn't catch strike 3. 2 down. It seems like whoever the Twins put there does not do well, whether it's Danny Santana, Eduardo Escobar, or now Nunez having a tough day at the plate. Here's Dozier. 2 strikeouts, bookending a single off the leg of Marco Estrada. That came in the 4th inning, leading off the inning, and the Twins got their only run, a few at-bats and plate appearances later, on a fly ball to right. Strike on the outside corner with Sanchez at 96.
Well, that's part of the reason the Jays are so excited about him. He's a tall, lanky right-hander, getting stronger with age. That velocity may pick up even more.
Line to the second baseman. Goins with the catch. And for the 6th time tonight, the Twins go down 1-2-3. And they hope to change that, of course, in the ninth. Kevin Jepsen trying to keep this a 3-1 game. Jepsen made his Twins debut a couple of days ago at Target Field, walked 2 men.
Yeah, those numbers are for both Tampa Bay and Minnesota.
Walked the first 2 men he faced in a Twins uniform at Target Field in the final inning of the 4-1 loss. Jepsen taking the loss. 1 strike. Now Jepsen, a guy who's been around for a while, and from time to time his control isn't as sharp as he or his employers would like. 1-1.
Pitched this year and several years prior in the same division as the Toronto Blue Jays when he's a member of the Tampa Bay Rays.
1-1. Dozier with a great diving stop, and he throws him out. And an example again of where the turf here in Toronto may have allowed Dozier a chance to make a great play. This ball was stung pretty good.
Well, watch him go to his right, flat out Superman dive, but he knows the runner. Russell Martin does not run all that well, so he just has to get his body under control, get in a position to be able to throw a strike to Joe Mauer, and he does just that.
See, or you could see on other replays all the granular material that got kicked up in the air. Fine play by Dozier.
Belly flops are probably a little easier on this stuff.
Tap foul by Navarro.
You can go ahead and experience that tomorrow if you'd like. I'm going to just take it for granted that it is.
I'll just do my part and walk around the surface, you know.
All right.
And relay to the viewers how it feels on my dress shoes. You know, Paul Molitor in advance of the series yesterday said, you know, he's concerned about plays like that with that, you know, stuff that comes up when, a granular ground up tires, if that's still what they use, it could very easily get up into a player's eye. Yep. Tapped up the line foul. Dozier's, as we've gotten shots of him, glimpses of him since he made the play, he's kind of adjusting his neck. And
O'Brien actually kind of wrenched his back a little bit earlier in the year.
Last year here in Toronto on the other turf, it kind of flared up on him. Swing and a miss. And Jepsen gets a couple of outs here in the 8th. 2 down. That'll bring up Ryan Goins.
Get a good glimpse of Jepsen's breaking ball here in the last pitch. You see how it just drops. Good over the top curveball that he kept away from Navarro.
Goins hit a home run last night, and the Twins haven't gotten him out tonight. A walk, a bunt single with 2 outs and a man at third, which was a bit surprising. Then he got a single in the 6th to help fill the bases. Hit a single to center, and the Twins had some confusion on the relay play. No one cut the ball off. The ball was not thrown over a cutoff man by Aaron Hicks. There was no cutoff man there. 1 strike to Goins. Twins will have Mauer, Plouffe, and Sano batting in the 9th inning. Jepsen trying to get us there, down just a couple of runs. Down and in. 2-1. The Twins going back to Friday's game against Seattle. Scored just 1 run. Scored 3 on Saturday, but aided by wild pitches and finally winning a ball game on Kurt Suzuki's single in extra innings. Actually, it was the bottom of the ninth. Suzuki getting his hit, but wild pitches helped the Twins get off that single run pattern that they've fallen into, and now so far the last 3 games just 1 run scored in each game. 2-2 to Goins. Three and 2.
Terry Ryan described Kevin Jepsen when he acquired him from Tampa as a guy who is effectively wild, and I think we're going to have to get used to a lot of deep counts with him. He's not the kind of guy to just pound the strike zone a lot like Casey Fiend and today's starter Phil Hughes.
And a 94-mile-per-hour fastball. Jepsen kind of spun out on his follow-through. A 1-2-3-8. Joe Mauer will try to start a Twins comeback in the ninth.
Come on.
Have made some plays here tonight, and you can't complain about giving up just 3 runs to this Toronto lineup, but so far the Twins have scored just 1 run, and it'll be Joe Mauer, Trevor Plouffe, Miguel Sano facing Roberto Osuna, the Toronto closer. Osuna 7 saves and 8 opportunities. Donaldson playing a deep third base. We've seen Mauer try to bunt in situations like this. First pitch to the backstop, ball 1. Leading off an inning, Joe many times has thought about bunting. He's 0 for 3 tonight.
Well, the Twins definitely need base runners. They've had a total of 3 of them on the day.
1-1.
3 left on.
Joe with a fairly well hit ball in the first to Revere. He struck out in the 4th, and he had a liner to Revere in the 6th. Justin Smoke in at first base. 1-1. Popped up, and Donaldson with room. 1 away. What's next? Brought to you by CenturyLink. Talked to Tyler Duffy today. He's, as you might imagine, rather excited about his major league debut tomorrow. Drew Hutchinson will go for the Blue Jays.
It's an interesting move for the Twins. Tyler Duffy was the guy at AAA Rochester who was pitching the best at the time, and he hasn't allowed a lot of home runs. That was one of the considerations the Twins had in bringing him up against this potent offense.
Plouffe fouled tip, 1 strike. So important for either Mauer or Plouffe to get aboard for Sano. He's a legitimate power threat. Twins haven't been able to generate much of anything offensively again here tonight. They'd like to have somebody on base when he hits. Mauer's retired quickly, and now Plouffe drives one to left center field. Revere chasing it. Pilar calling for it, and he makes the catch. 2 down. And Sano will come up with the bases empty. Sano, a liner to Tulowitzki, a walk, and then a fly ball to right. Blue Jays 1 out away from moving ahead of the Twins in the wild card standing. Big swing and a miss on a pitch outside. If Sano can extend the game, Torrey Hunter would have a chance. One and one. Outside again, 2 and 1. Twins in danger of falling just 2 games above the 500 mark, while the Blue Jays are threatening to go 4 up. Pitching Sano continuously away. Swung and missed twice now, and pitches off the plate. 2 and 2.
Now the crowd's on their feet. Not near the crowd of yesterday's game, but they're finally getting behind their Jays.
Pitch down the middle and lifted it foul, and that's one thing we've seen in recent games. Miguel's getting some pitches to drive, and he's fouling them back. Another 2-2 coming. Back to swing, 3 and 2, with again the veteran Hunter in the on-deck circle. To Sano, his second of the ball game, and the game's still alive. Threw him 6-7 pitches, only 1 strike. Escobar now is going to run for Sano. The young man didn't get any hits tonight, but he walked twice.
Well, he's on base occasionally, and whether the results have been good or not, it's one thing the young Twins players are going through is experience. They're experiencing something they haven't experienced so far.
Hunter drove in the only run last night, the only run tonight. He's asked to drive in another one here, maybe 2. Lifted foul, out of play, 1 strike. Torrey hitless tonight. And the average down to 247. Ball right center field. Bautista calls for it. Again, 1 run for the Twins. Not enough. The Blue Jays move ahead of Minnesota in the wild card standings. Anthony LaPanta, the Twins struggling to score runs, and it continued here tonight with just one on the board.